Alright, so here's a quick video that describes how to use my making the band technique for completing the square. So, we first start off by looking at our little band here, and we have a fantastic lead singer, a great guitarist, and a mediocre drummer. So the first thing we do is we kick out our drummer. And I look at what I've got left with the rest of my band. I have that 2x squared, or 2x, and I know I need to get a new drummer. And this is what I like to call my check mark technique. So to find the right drummer, I go x plus, and I do a check mark down from the 2. The down part means divided by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. So this whole thing is a nice tight unit. It's going to be x plus 1 squared. That's my really awesome band. If I have x plus 1 squared, I have to then take this 1 back up through the squaring. So 1 squared is 1. But then this is my new drummer, and this new drummer is totally awesome. Perfectly fits the band, same musical instrument influences, likes the same food, just perfect. The trouble is that I can't go randomly adding in numbers to my equation, so I have to add 0. I can't add zeros in, that's mathematically valid. And I add 0 by this positive 1 coming along with his really negative twin. So there's a negative 1 that's along with it. Now I need to get that negative 1 out of the band. So I take that 1 out, and then minus the 7, my old drummer that we let hang out and be a groupie. Those two things together form negative 8. So this becomes x plus 1 squared minus 8. Okay, so here's a slightly more challenging version of the same thing. In this one, we've got an added problem with our band. So, still lead singer, guitarist, drummer. The drummer still gets kicked out first, but I now have an added problem. The problem is that my lead singer is attached to this really obnoxious girlfriend/boyfriend that has got their influence all through the band. They come up with all sorts of dumb things, like, you guys should wear hats with wings on them. And then the lead singer's like, yeah, we should totally do that. You end up wearing hats with dumb wings on them. So what we have instead going on is that we've got to get rid of that boyfriend/girlfriend. So I'm going to separate them out from the rest of the band. Now, when I factor them out from the rest of the band, their influence also goes away from this term here. So I'm doing like a greatest common factor, taking that factor out of both of those two terms. So I'm going to be left with x squared there, and I'm going to be left with negative 4x here. So that's the 5 coming out of this term, giving me x squared, and the 5 coming out of this term, giving me the negative 4. Now we're at the same place we were last time. So I've got to find my right drummer to finish off my band, and I do the check mark thing, so it goes down and then up, divided by 2, and then squaring. So this becomes x minus 2. That's my nice tight unit as a band, x minus 2 all squared. And to get that to happen, I need this negative 2 squared, which is going to give me a positive 4. Again, you can't just go randomly adding in numbers. So that new drummer brings along their really negative twin, which is that negative 4. Still have got to get rid of that negative 4, and this time I pair it up with that negative ex-girlfriend/boyfriend. So 5 times negative 4 is then negative 20. Negative 20 plus 23. So this becomes 5 times x minus 2 all squared plus 3. So there's my final version of this equation. This thing and this thing are the exact same equation, the exact same graph, just in different forms. All right, so last example here. Again, I've got this great band, lead singer, guitarist, drummer. Kick out my drummer. Get rid of my obnoxious girlfriend/boyfriend. Leaves me with 4x squared, just 1x squared there. And then negative 8 divided by negative 4 is going to be positive 2x there. So now I do my check mark step. It's divided by 2. So it's going to be x plus 1 all squared. 1 squared is 1. Brings along the negative twin. My negative 4 stays up front, but that negative 4 and that negative 1 become positive 4 minus 9. So negative 4x plus 1 squared. 4 minus 5, or 4 minus 9 is negative 5. So my vertex is at negative 1, negative 5, slope of negative 4. And so that's how we can turn them from that obnoxious / not so useful general form into that nice vertex or standard form. Hopefully that helps. And if you have questions, come see Mr. McManus, and I'm happy to help make them make sense.